In 1912, a man named Robert Falcon Scott was dying in a tent in Antarctica. He had been beaten to the South Pole by a Norwegian expedition. His supplies were gone. The blizzard outside had been running for 9 days. He kept writing. And the word he used in his final journal entry for the cold that was killing him was not very cold. It was one word. One perfect, devastating word. And it is waiting for you at the end of this episode. 5 words, one from a dying explorer. Each one a different kind of cold, because cold, like every real human experience, is never just one thing. Think about the coldest you have ever been. Not inconveniently cold, not reach for a jacket cold. Truly cold, the kind that gets inside clothing, inside skin, that changes your thinking, makes it slow, makes it narrow, makes it focus on one single thing, warmth and how far away it is. Was that very cold? No. Cold has shapes. There's the cold that bites, sharp, immediate, aggressive. The cold that seeps, slow, patient, arriving over hours. The cold that empties, the deep. Winter cold that removes color from everything and replaces the world with a gray, silent version of itself. Very cold describes none of them. Let's fix that. Every word, out loud, feel them. Ward 1, freezing. It's absolutely freezing out there. Your first replacement, immediate, conversational, the word every native speaker reaches for before anything else. But freezing is not casual. It means what it says. The temperature at which water becomes ice, the threshold at which liquid stops moving. My hands are freezing. I can't feel my fingers. We stood outside for 20 minutes, freezing. Nobody complained, but everyone was thinking about leaving. Use freezing for cold that is immediate and physical, the cold your body reports before your mind has processed it. Word 2, bitter. A bitter wind came off the water. Now we add hostility. Because bitter cold is not just low temperature. It is cold with intent, cold that feels personal, that finds the gaps in your coat, the exposed strip of wrist between glove and sleeve, the back of your neck when you turn into the wind. Bitter cold doesn't simply exist, it works against you. It was a bitter January morning, the kind that makes the city look like it regrets existing. She stepped outside, and the bitter air hit her immediately, not just cold opposed. Use bitter when cold has an edge, when it feels like weather with an argument to make. Ward 3, raw. The air was raw. Now we slow down. Raw cold is damp cold, penetrating cold. The specific misery of cold that is not dramatic, no blizzard, no record temperature, but gets further inside you than temperature. Alone should explain raw is the cold of gray February afternoons, of standing on a platform waiting for a train that is late, of the kind of weather that doesn't punish you dramatically, but wears you down quietly, hour by hour, until you're cold in a way that feels personal and specifically unfair. The stadium was raw and exposed, wind from every direction, no shelter, the kind of cold that makes you question your life choices. It wasn't dramatically cold, just raw, the kind that sits in your bones and stays there. Use raw for the cold that seeps, that is less about temperature and more about surrender. Ward 4, biting. A biting wind. The cold was biting. I lasted 10 minutes before going back inside. Sharp, immediate, aggressive. If bitter cold works against you, biting cold attacks you, it doesn't seep. It cuts the specific quality of cold air moving fast, wind chill cold, the cold of exposed hilltops and open water, and turning a corner in a city and meeting the full force of winter coming down a street with nothing to stop it. The biting cold hit us the moment we left the tree line, nothing between us and it. She loved winter walks in theory. The biting wind on the cliff top reminded her that theory and practice are different things. Use biting when cold moves, when it has speed and direction and finds you specifically. Ward 5, the explorer's word. Perishing. It is absolutely perishing. We were perishing, genuinely, seriously perishing. Here it is. Robert Falcon Scott's word. From the Latin perire, to be lost, to be destroyed, to pass away entirely. To perish is to die, and perishing cold is cold at that threshold, cold that is not merely uncomfortable but threatening, cold that the body is losing its argument. Scott wrote it in his journal not as hyperbole, as a report. It is perishing cold. 6 words, written by a man who understood with complete clarity that the cold outside his tent was not a weather condition. It was an ending. In modern English, perishing has softened slightly. British speakers use it with a kind of dark humor, the way people joke about serious things to survive them. I've been standing at this bus stop for 30 minutes. It is absolutely perishing. The changing rooms were perishing. We played the whole match cold and couldn't feel our feet by the end. But underneath the humor, the word remembers where it came from. Cold, that doesn't just bite or seep or oppose. Use perishing for the cold that is serious, that the body registers not as discomfort but as warning. One journey, 5 stages of cold. You leave the house, the air hits you immediately. Freezing, your body reports it before your coat has finished its job. You turn into the wind. Biting, it finds your face, your eyes water without your permission. You've been outside an hour. Damp now, deep cold, settling in places warmth usually lives. Raw, no drama, just the slow, grinding reality of a body losing temperature. The temperature drops as evening arrives. The cold is no longer neutral. It feels now like opposition. Bitter weather with an argument. And then the moment you stop moving, standing still, waiting, your body no longer generating enough heat to compensate. Perishing. Time to go inside? Freezing, biting, raw, bitter, perishing. 5 stages of cold in exactly the order cold takes you. 1 sentence, 1 word, your coldest memory. I read every comment. I reply to every one. Come and make me shiver. 5 words that replace very cold and tell the truth about what cold actually does. Freezing immediate, the body's first report. Biting fast, sharp finds you specifically. Raw, seeping, damp, relentless. Bitter, cold with hostility. Weather opposed to you. Perishing, Scott's word, from a tent in Antarctica. Cold that takes. Next episode, very hot. One of those words was used to describe a city so legendary for its heat that its name became a word in English for everywhere that is unbearably, inescapably, magnificently on fire. That city still exists. That word still burns. Subscribe every week, one small change, real English, words that actually carry the weight of the world. I'll see you in the next one.